Hi guys, welcome to Loki Telly. Today we're going to bring you something really cool. If you're into board games just like us, well, you're in for a doozy. We got ourselves a Adapta Tabletop table extension and the Adapta Tabletop player kit to go with it. So what's Adapta Tabletop table extension, you ask? That's a good question. Adapta Tabletop is basically, well, they promise to extend your table and will allow you to add multi-levels to it. And again, it's compatible with pretty much any game out there, so really cool. And the player kit is basically a set of tools that, when combined with the table extension, will allow you to further that experience and take it to a different level. So again, these are the two products that we have with us, and join us while we unbox these bad boys and show you everything inside.
Loki Telly.
There are two editions, the standard one and the Wargame edition. Today, we'll be reviewing the Wargame edition. The main difference between both relates to size and components. The standard is 60 by 90 centimeters and the Wargame edition is 90 by 120 centimeters. The standard is just that, one standard table with all its components. The Wargame edition, however, it's a bit chunkier, bigger in size, and when you buy it, you get two tables with components and an additional player kit full of goodies to assist and try to save space. The standard started at 115 euros, but had the lowest price marked at 75 euros at pledge level in Gamefound. And the Wargame edition started at 270 euros, but reached a minimum of 139 euros at pledge level. These figures excluded shipping costs. Again, this was a product purchased at Gamefound at a pledge level. So let's get this started. We're going to start with the Adapta Tabletop table extension, the main item. And again, what's the table extension, you ask? That's a good question. The table extension is a tabletop extension with adaptable levels for pretty much any board game out there. So this means if you have a big game and a small table, and lots of components to go with that game, then your table is not going to make it. So again, this was designed for people that have small tables and big games. It is a modular system. It's supposed to be practical. It's supposed to be easy to assemble. Again, you want the main idea is to free up the space below the board game itself, give you all sorts of space for you to put miniatures there, put extra components, or let's face it, everybody's favorite, party snacks. You need a party snack. So just lots of space to put stuff under there. So let's see what's inside this box. Righty, so we saved you all the boring parts of the actual unboxing, which is pretty much just taking stuff out and ripping plastics and pieces of cardboard. So done with that. What's inside the box? Pretty simple. You got your instructions. So one sheet basically tells you how to assemble it. You have 6 panels. They're pretty big. You got 6 of these. Sturdy, very resistant. Feels like it's good quality. Again, it's basically the size. It's 30 centimeters. So it's a square, so 30 centimeters per 30 centimeters. It's an exact square. You got 6 of these. It's honeycomb, so when you flip them on the back, you have the honeycomb mesh, which is pretty much what will allow you to assemble a tabletop, because you have all sorts of pieces that will attach on the back side of this, and on the front side it's just flat. So you'll be able to put your board game and again, not scratching or anything like that. So pretty cool. You got 6 of these. You don't have to use them all, but you have 6. Then you have 12. They have specific name for this. It's I got my cheat sheet here. 12 dynamic stability adapters. 12 of these. What does this do? We're going to show you that in just a second. But again, you got 12 of these, very important. It's what's going to make it all stick. Flip it on over to this. This is basically your board game stability adapter. So again, this is going to just clip onto the table, and if you have massive board games is just so that it doesn't slip, that extra little bit of security. You flip it on and it just attaches to the board game, not allowing it to move out of its place. So you got 4 of these. And then you have your leg components, starting with the base. You have 12 rubber pads that will go on the base of your leg, and this will prevent it from slipping on the table. Again, very important, otherwise your game is just gonna be it's gonna be very unstable. Just slip off the table and break itself, and it's not good. Especially if you have a table like we do, which has a very smooth surface, then you need these rubber things, otherwise again, your game is just gonna slip off and take flight. That's not a good thing. Then you have 12 mini legs, and then you have 12 big ones. Now, these, from what we understand, can be assembled just like so, or you just keep one. You don't have to use both, depends on the size of the leg that you want. You could keep it like this, or you could just use it like this. The rubber base will attach to both the big leg, if you will. So just like so, and then sticks on there pretty good. Or, again, it will attach itself to the small part of the leg, and then that will attach to the big part of the leg, and then you have yourself a bigger leg. Again, you can decide on the size of the length of the leg that you want. A bit of a tongue twister there, but it's a good thing that you have at least options. You don't have to go full length, but again, you can select what you want. So if you just want to give that extra bit of room beneath your table so that you can store extra components, you can just use the big one. If you want to have lots of room because you have like big miniatures or I don't know, lots of stuff under there, then by all means go with a big one, and that's it. But that's it as components goes. This is it. This is what you get. 6 boards, 12 dynamic stabilizers, rubber pads for the legs, 4 board game stabilizers, and then 12 legs. 12 mini legs and 12 big ones. Now, let's put it all together and see how it looks. So we just finished assembling this big table extension, and it's not really easy because, well, it feels like the pieces, especially the little legs, are not really secure, and these things come off really easily. So I don't know. Let's see. I think it's going to be a challenge to flip this like a pancake without it falling apart. But let's see. Also, the instructions are not, well, they appear to be clear, but also I don't know if I'm sure they did a lot of testing, but I'm not sure if they actually made it so that the distribution of this is the most efficient way. Probably. I mean, you have to flip it and see. So again, let's do the test. Let's flip it over, and maybe there's a better way of flipping this thing, but I guess, I don't know, maybe you're supposed to do this with another person, I don't really know. Well, let's see if it works. Let's do it up, Alright, so here's the first issue. I don't have a good feeling about this. Alright, one leg down, see the rest, and already we lost a couple. Alright, so basically here's your first main issue. When you flip it, you're gonna lose some stuff. You can reattach it easily enough, but still, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like this could have been a little bit better. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't think I am, because the pieces don't really, if I was to put more force into making sure that they would stick, then probably I'm scared of breaking these things, or I don't know, or pushing them to a point that I'm not going to be able to take them apart when I'm done playing with my games. So it feels like this is it. Also, it feels like they're just here to support and not really do anything else. So again, you don't want to force these things into a place that then you're either going to break it or you're not going to be able to disassemble it safely. So I think this is so far the first issue I have with this. It's flipping it over. Are you supposed to assemble it like this and then I had to apply some force to it to get it to a stable position. So I think this is the way to do it. But again, you guys on the comment section, if you know better ways, more efficient, just by all means, just let us know. All right, but this is it. This is the final product, all assembled. First thoughts about this table extension. Again, it's the first time that we're assembling it. It feels sturdy. It feels like if you place stuff here, it's not gonna go anywhere. Again, games are not supposed to be super duper heavy, but again, well, I'm applying all sorts of weight to this and it feels like it's not moving. So stability, solid 10 out of 10. It's very stable. It's not going anywhere. Let me see the legs underneath. They're all touching the table, which is good. It means like there's no wobbles. It means they're all the same length. It means everything is all right. There's no janky legs or a leg that's bigger than the other one. No, it kind of feels like everything is in place. So again, there's no wobble. So I can see that if I apply pressure here, the table doesn't pop over on this section. So it's good. Again, this corner right here feels a bit wobbly, but it doesn't have a support section underneath. Again, that could have been my mistake because I could have done some better spacing, but I followed the instructions as they were provided. Again, very sturdy table, a solid 10. And now for the second part, the player kit. Let's open up this box. There we go. Okie dokie. So some protections. All right, we got a couple tools. And when I say a couple, it's more than a couple. Okie dokie. More. 2 of these, I think. And all right. Okay, so we got 4 deck holders. Assuming this is a deck holder. Yeah, seems about right. So we got 4 deck holders. Don't know how this will connect with the table, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. 4 deck holders, so 2 here and then 2 extra right here. Let's open up this. Four deck holders. All right, put that to the side. Right there. What's this now? I think it's gonna be the card holder. We're gonna have 4 of these. The plastic, there we go. 4 card holders. These are supposed to lock or snap into place with the table extension. So we are going to test that out, obviously. And what's this now? These are token holders. We're gonna have 4 of these. It's really good to have token holders. You can never have enough. Spread them around the table, and you can have pretty much all the tokens you need. Just right there. 4 token holders, and I'm guessing this is how you connect them to the table. Oops. So basically, we're gonna take these are the pieces that will allow you to connect them to the table, and also if needed, and at least it's what it says on the instructions, you can place your beverage right there, just chilling, and then you take it and you drink. She drinks a lot. Tea mainly, but yes. So basically, this is going to be the part that you connect to the table, and then you can place your holders there, or your part for the cards as well. So this will connect to the table, and then here you put the card. It feels like it's sturdy. You know, it kind of feels like it can just slip off if you apply some pressure on the right position, like here in the middle. It just easily moves. Don't know. We're gonna test this out. Let's see the card one. This feels like it's gonna be a little bit more sturdy. Yeah, this feels a little bit more sturdy. The drink, I would never place a drink here, to be honest. But again, we could test that as well. We're gonna test everything, just for you. Alrighty, this is pretty much it. It's a kit for 4 players. So you have 4 token, 4 multiple token holders. You have 4 card holders, and 4 card deck holders, and then you have 4 card holders and 4 card deck holders. And all these pieces to go along with it so that you can keep everything secured, 1 for each, or again, if you don't use any of these, you could just put your beverages on it and then just have a drinking party. Whatever tickles your fancy or whatever rolls your boat. This is it. This is what the player kit has, 4 of each for 4 players, so you could set it around the table extension to again release some of the main table space. So you could just use it for your phone or just put random stuff in there, so it's not solely occupied with components of your game or your game itself. Let's test it out. Now we're gonna go and take one of the biggest games we have, one of our big boy games, the biggest one, and the one that's one of the biggest table gobblers that we have, Nemesis Lockdown. So Nemesis Lockdown is a game with tons of components, and the actual board itself is pretty big. So let's see how it plays out on the Adapted Tabletop table extension. Say that 3 times without messing it up. So right, let's do it. And that's it. We've just assembled the game that we have that has the most components. So Nemesis Lockdown, in case you're interested. But yeah, as you can see, we've set the table for 4 players, lots of cards, lots of tokens, still very sturdy table. It feels like it's not going anywhere, but as we were putting this whole thing together, we realized some things were not really that good. Some upsides, some downsides, again, some positives and some negatives. We're gonna go through that in just a bit. But first things first, space. It does free up some space. The main reason for that is because these token holders and card holders on the side really free up some table space for you, and you're able to just put your rule books, or your phone, your drinks, your snacks, or whatever, cards. We use it for cards as well. We have lots of things going on the sides of the board, and that was just impossible in the previous way that we were playing with just a normal table. Right now, again, with this setup, we've gained a bunch of useful space on the table surface because, again, of these very, very useful player kit tools. we're not using them all, especially as they are designed, because they have some flaws. First flaw, the card holder. The card holder has a couple of problems. First, again, the first thing that we've noticed is that it's not really super secure. So to pull things out is just it doesn't feel very safe. Secondly, everybody that has card games, board games with cards, usually has sleeves on them to protect them. If we use a sleeve, then the card does not fit the space. It gets all wonky, and that's not what you want. Without the sleeve, well, without the sleeve it fits just fine. But again, that's an issue, because if you have spent hundreds of pounds, dollars, or euros in a game, and you want to use your cards multiple times, you're gonna have some sleeves on it. So again, if you have sleeves, this doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So that's the first thing that we encountered, the first issue. The second issue is safety. It doesn't really feel like you can rely on the table. I trust the table. What I don't trust is the player kit. The player kit is basically a piece that connects on the honeycomb mesh on the back of the plates, and it just sticks like there. It sticks there. If you apply pressure on this side, then eventually what's going to happen is it probably will break off, and the whole thing is going to collapse. If you have lots of tokens stored in it, like for example this, well then that's going to be a nightmare. So it doesn't really feel that safe. I wouldn't necessarily trust it with like 100%. The table, perfect. The player kit, very useful. Parts of it, very useful. Most of it, I don't really trust it. We used smaller cards for the card holder. These will fit just fine. So, all right, because again, they're smaller. Bigger cards, standard cards, they won't fit. Especially if you have a sleeve. If you don't have a sleeve, well, they fit. If you have sleeves, then again, they won't. We set up this game so that everybody has, and this is a cool part, everybody can be a part of the game. So if, for example, oh, I need this guy needs X amount of tokens, that player has that tokens, but we need to play cards because the monster is going to do something. Well, then this player right here on the side can access those cards, and everybody will have a part to play. It won't be. Everybody will be more involved in the game. It's not like you're playing and then you have to. Player X is going to do the whole work because the pieces are all there, and then it's spread out so everybody can have a part to play. Secondly, the space on the below the table, the space that supposedly is going to free up, you're not going to use it, because let's face it, you could barely look under there, and it's all full of legs everywhere. So putting stuff in there and just taking them out, maybe just bags of potato chips or peanuts or something, but right now that's pretty much all there is, and all that you could fit beneath the table. Maybe your cell phone, stuff like that, but again, it wouldn't be something that I would use as storage, so I wouldn't be placing stuff under that I need systematically. So again, it's just a nice to have. Am I going to use it? I don't really think so, because again, the sides of the board, of the table, are so filled up with stuff that it was a nightmare to get in. Now we can use it, that to get around set stuff and get under the table, that's an issue itself. So again, it frees up that space. Am I going to use it? I don't really think so. Secondly, the board stability clips, they feel very tight. If maybe they'll get a little bit looser with time, but again, just putting them on and taking them out, I noticed that it creates marks. It leaves markings on your board. You do not want that. Again, it slides, but you're not supposed to push the board around. So I feel like without the stability board things, it works just fine. These, however, have a second use, which is something that we're going to show later on. But to secure the board, I don't really think it's needed, because the board is not going anywhere. What moves are the pieces, and again, moving the pieces, the board stays in place, so I wouldn't necessarily use it. So these parts, useful for something else that we're going to run through in a couple minutes, but right now, to secure the board, not really needed. And lastly, positive point of the player kit is that the arm, I'm going to remove the arm. The arm is something, let me just remove it without collapsing the whole thing. So this is the arm. It's basically what secures everything, and they say you could put your drink in here, but I wouldn't trust my drink in this, because again, if you're putting force like this, then these parts are going to eventually disconnect and they might fall. If you have drinks spill everywhere, spillage, it's a nightmare, especially because these things are made of cardboard or paper or whatever, and it's going to ruin your game. So I wouldn't put a drink in it. You have to clean up the floor, a total mess. So I wouldn't necessarily use a drink. The cards and the tokens, I barely trust it to be there, but again, if it's a purpose. However, the useful part of this, and again, maybe I'm not connecting it correctly, but the useful part of this is that because it's a circle and all these parts are, they have a big circle underneath, and that's how they connect. They just align and that's it. They become pretty stable right here. This means that you could custom build your own 3D printed stuff to put in here. Let's say, well, imagine right now we have a nifty triangle thing to roll some die. What if you custom build your own die tray and you place it on here? Something that would be like this. Well then, you could give every player a nice little mat to roll your die, and you don't have to, you know, pick your die and just throw it on the board, because sometimes you have pieces on it and you just wax everything out of place. So having a custom build die roller mat, whatever jig thingamabob that you connect here with the circle underneath and you just attach the table, well, that could be a thing. Pretty useful this. If you have a 3D printer and if you can make stuff a reality, you can make all sorts of shenanigans using this. So again, really positive is the modularity of this system, which will allow you to build anything. Again, it feels good. 4 players. This is a big game. If you know Nemesis, you know exactly what we're talking about. 4 players. It's a lot of parts, a lot of tokens, a lot of pieces and miniatures. Everything it's very chaotic, and it feels like everything has a place here. Underneath the table, not gonna use it. On the sides, I can use it now, which is a really good thing, and that pretty much covers it up as the table functionalities are concerned. And the player kit overall looks good. Player kit is useful, but not, I don't trust it 100%. Materials are good and everything looks in place. So overall feedback on the table, really good construction, really good material, solid, sturdy. It feels like it could take a lot of weight, and that's good. So I give it a solid 10. The table is really good. Maybe, wait, let me just correct that. Not a 10 because of the problem with the legs. The legs keep falling off, especially when you flip it around. So I would give it, sorry, drop 2 points for that. So solid 8, which is not that bad because it saves a lot. It's very useful, saves a lot of space. So a solid 8. As the player kit is concerned, well, here the scoring kind of drops. I would give it like a 6 mainly because of the modularity of the system. You could pretty much build your own tools. So if you need, like I said, the dice tray or something else that I'm not thinking right now, then perfect. Print it, build it, connect it, done. But the way it connects to the table, which is basically like a Lego, upside Lego, and especially because you're gonna apply force on this end, which is eventually gonna make it disconnect from the mesh of the actual table, well then that's just not good in my eyes, at least. So a 6 is not bad, but it could be definitely a lot better. And that's it. That kind of wraps up this review. It's not a bad product. It's a really good product. Can it be good? Can it be better? Yes, of course it can. There's lots of things that could be improved. The leg stability, how they connect, so that the parts don't keep falling off. The player kits, maybe a different way, maybe a clamp system instead of just connecting on the bottom. So a couple of things that could assist this product to be even better. If you have a small table, well then by all means just use it. You don't have to use the full 6 pieces of the table. You could use as many as you need. If you have a small board game, but you just want to lift it up from the table so that everybody has a good viewing spot, then that's as well a good point to use this. Again, just by rising up the board, it means that everybody has the board just comes a little bit closer to your eyes. It gives you like a different way of seeing things. Maybe you want to see it from above, well then you just need higher chairs. But again, I kind of like this view because it gives me that idea that it's more submersive. It's a more submersive experience. You're like eye level with doors and monsters and your own thing and computers or your little character. So it kind of gives you that feeling you're inside. Having said this, it's more difficult to see other aspects of the board. They're a bit further away. But yeah, overall considerations, good, but it could be better. So now we're gonna take it apart, see how easy it is to put it away. Player kits come out very easily, as mentioned before, because again, very little force needs to be applied for them to just pop right out. So that pops off or pops out really easily. But my main concern here is in fact the other pieces. So the big ones. Let me just take these away so that we could have a little bit extra space. Take a kit right here. And there we go. So player kit, again, pops up really easily. No issues there. One of the downfalls of the actual product itself, but now let's see how easy it is to take it apart from this side. So how do we take it apart actually? We start with the legs. Legs just pull out really easily. Let's pull out another one right here. Again, the legs pull out really easily, but the things that don't pull out really easily are the connectors. And if you don't remember, connectors are these Lego bits that attach to the joints of the table. So you have, for example, one right there underneath it, and these are not easy to pull off. It actually hurt your fingers when you're trying to pull them apart. So it's not really easy. Oh, there we go. Managed to pull one. Again, it's just something that it's kind of annoying, but I do understand it as well because it needs to be secured very tightly, otherwise it'll just fall apart. So you just like a big Lego, and I kind of hurt my finger over there, but yeah, you managed to take it apart. So yeah, some things are easy to take apart, others not so much, but I get it. These things need to be stuck in there really tightly for security, but again, they will hurt your fingers trying to pull them out. So yeah, as to taking it apart, easy, not so easy, but again, efficient, I guess. It needs to be like that. And whilst we're at it, the table has a multi-level purpose as well. So you can use these board game stoppers for a different thing as well. So if you place them here, they will become stoppers for the big legs. So if you see, big or short, you can use them both. They'll fit both. But basically, if you want to play a game that has multi-levels, you can just put the legs in here, and you could just put another one on top. Do it the other way around. You just put the legs first. You put the legs in the thing. One there, one there. Let's put some more. One there. And I need another one. Let's get another leg. And the leg can be this guy right here. So legs, pretty easy to pull apart. Get another leg in there, just to show how this looks. All right, secure them tightly on there. Remove the small ones for now, and adjust this. Boom. Adjust that a little bit. Actually, this one, let's use it here, you have some space. And there you go. So basically these will keep your multi-level from just, just sliding all over the main board. And again, if you want to, you could just, if you need more space, go a little bit higher, no worries. Adaptive Tabletop's got you, bro. Just slap on these things right there. Boom. Flip them. Please don't fall out. Please don't fall out. You lost one. Okay. Get them. Put it back in. There you go. Now you have multi-level to play your game, and you could set multi-levels on top of multi-levels, so you can actually put like 3 on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. So if you have a game that requires, or if you want to just put that mechanic in, then you can do it pretty easily as well. Again, this is not going anywhere because the actual legs are sticking on to the adapters. Please don't forget you only have 4. So if you want to do another one, you would have to, again, be wary of that and just put them on a place that you could use 2 on the second layer and then another 2 on the third one, or just 1, to be honest. I think with this just one you'll be all right as well. But again, this is one of the purposes of this table as well. It gives you that multi-layer option as well. Some board games are they don't require it, but just gives you that extra little bit of oomph to your experience. So good to have, nice to have. Not something that we're going to use here because our board games are just on one dimension only. They don't go up and above. So again, but options are good, and this is one of the main features as well. So is Adaptive Tabletop a product worth getting? Do they stack up against their claims? Can they make board gaming a better experience? Well, yes and no. Yes, you'll be able to use the table to save space and become more efficient, but unfortunately some processes can be very tiresome, like the legs that keep falling off when you assemble the table and other things. It is still a great product to have, especially if you don't have a table to play, or if you want to free up the one you already have. But let's divide this into a couple of points and rate this bad boy. To give its final rating, we're going to evaluate a couple of points: quality of material, functionality, price, and overall cool factor, because if you buy something, well, it better look cool. The quality of the material is really good. This feels like you could drop it and it'd still be looking like new. The print is solid and gives you a sense of security when handling the pieces. Taking into consideration that this is a product that will be assembled and disassembled multiple times, we believe that you will not struggle with parts losing grip or decaying with time. It feels solid as a rock, and again, in a product like this would be the main point to focus on. Can it hold games and minis on top and the occasional table slap? Yes, it can. ATT noted that the breaking point is around 12 kilos, and most of us can't even lift that much. So for a table that is built of many parts, that's just damn good. This is a point that could improve dramatically. The legs when combined feel loose and fall all the time when assembling the table. The rubber pads face the same issue. The board game holder will dent your board and can even scratch it when removing it. Some of the player kit pieces do not work and could use a redesign. And some of the ideas proposed, well, they're just nuts. Please do not try to place any drinks on the arm as advertised. This does not feel like a story with a happy ending. The main issue here is the way the arm connects to the table, and because that is the only way things hold up, well then, you better think twice. The multi-level promises delivers, and you'll be able to create extra levels if you want or if your game needs it. Having said this, assembling the table is a pain, and putting it away is even worse. Considering that you get 2 massive tables and a player kit on the Wargame Edition, we believe it to be a fair price. Even with all its downfalls, it's still a product that we have been searching for. We were considering building one from scratch for exactly this purpose. So being able to buy one and not have to go through all the hassle and work of building one is already a win. It all depends on the question that only you can answer. Do you really need it? This is probably the point that we all think about when buying something. Is it cool? Well, I think it is, When you assemble it all and you look at it, it feels like your board game is on steroids, bro. All beefed up and ready to go. It also has the possibility of allowing you to custom build your own parts for the player kit. Well, think about it, the possibilities are endless. ATT also comes with some free STL files for you to print extra goodies for your product, such as custom legs shaped like a warrior and other things. So it passes this test with flying colors. And there it is, a table for a table. Worth it? We think so. Sure, it has issues, but the overall experience surpasses downsides. Hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to tune in into Lokitelli's next episode. See you soon.